Here with Randy Foye, and we're talking Zion Williamson. He's listed as day-to-day with a grade 1 knee sprain after his injury scare Wednesday night. And while Coach K is optimistic the freshman phenom will return to the floor soon, former Kentucky star DeMarcus Cousins has some advice for Zion. Take a listen.
Well, knowing what I know now, college is bull. College basketball, NCAA is bull. So my advice to him is do what's best for you and your family. Obviously, college isn't. It can't really. It does nothing for you at this point. You've proven you're, the #1 pick coming out. You've proven your talent. Get ready for the next level because it's happening. That's my opinion, knowing what I know now.
Boogie, tell us what you really think. Randy, should Zion shut it down for the season, even if he isn't seriously injured?
No. I think if it was within the first 10 games and he got injured and he sat down with his camp, even though you're not supposed to have a camp in college, if he sat down with his camp and they said, hey, it's not worth it, then yeah. But I think he came in with Cam Reddish, R.J. Barrett, those guys, and they planned to do something. They want to win ACC championship, national championship, and they're close. What happened to Zion? Does it look crazy with his shoe exploding through, his foot exploding through a Nike shoe like that? Absolutely. But grade 1, day-to-day, make sure you 100% before you come back. But like you said, we know it's at the end of the rainbow for him, and it's a huge bag of money. So I think for him to just finish it out, you're going to be #1 pick no matter what happened. But just go out there and finish it out with your brothers.
Should there be any extra concern? We haven't necessarily seen a player at his side, 285, and move the way he does. I mean, so much is because of his explosiveness, his agility. But to have that type of frame, should that at all factor with his body into this decision-making?
When I looked at it and it first happened, I was watching a game, and I said he should not be in a Paul George shoe. If you're wearing a Nike and you're that big, jump that high. If you wear a Nike shoe that big, jump that high, you should be in a LeBron James shoe.
Yeah.
You should be in a LeBron James shoe because it's the only guy that can jump like you. It's the only guy that cuts that hard, put that much pressure on his joints every single time down. So you should be in that shoe.
I know you're not in the NBA ranks of a front office, but you could be, given the career you have. Let's say Zion says, I've talked with my family and I decided I'm not going to play out the rest of the season. Would that at all change your perception of his competitiveness or his desire to play? Would that change anything about what you think about some of the intangibles of his game?
No. Kyrie Irving played 8 games and was drafted #1 overall, had a freakish injury. Zion sitting here saying, hey, I don't want to put anything at risk. I want to get maximum amount of money from shoe deals, endorsements. I'm already slotted #1, #2, but in everyone's eyes, #1. I'm going to go out there and just give it everything I got. Even if I'm a GM, I'm going to sit there and say, hey, it don't matter. I want this guy to sit out, especially if I'm a team that's in a lottery and I know I'm going to have X amount of balls where I could possibly get the #1 and #2 pick. Yeah, sit out, because I want Zion to come in healthy as possible where he could put my team on his back right away.
Well, here's the thing, Randy, and I absolutely agree with you that it should be Zion's decision and that he did start something special with Cam Reddish and R.J. Barrett, 2 highly touted prospects coming out of high school. But in terms of what he should do, what he shouldn't do, the risk that he's assuming by coming back if he's 100% healthy is negligible. Like, I understand that even when you're out there on the court, there is a risk. But it's not like we're talking about football. It's not the same situation that Nicky Bosa had at Ohio State or that Leonard Fournette had at LSU. Like, I mean, the nature of the sport, I think that it's a really small risk that he would be inheriting if he decides that he's going to come back and play potentially in the ACC tournament or play in the NCAA tournament. So I would say that in terms of what there is to be gained for him participating in the rest of the season for the Duke Blue Devils, I think that the experience and the coaching that he's receiving from Coach K is going to be something that's invaluable for him, because he's thinking about making this, and he's going to be making a huge step. Going from college to pro is bigger than going from high school to college, and being coached by one of the best basketball minds that's ever lived in Coach K, I think there's something to be said for being able to have that experience. So I do see some value in it. I understand the risk, but I mean, basketball players play basketball.
Yeah.
And so I think that a part of this is, okay, understanding, even if he doesn't play for Duke, what is he going to be doing up until the draft? He's going to be playing basketball. He's going to be working out. So I look at that injury that happened last night and his foot busting through the shoe as an aberration. I don't think that there's a situation where you feel like he's putting himself in real danger by coming back and playing if he's 100% healthy.
Well, it's certainly not football, but, you know, Paul George, Gordon Hayward, Kevin Ware, you know, it can happen. But, you know, you can't live in fear like that. My thing is this. First of all, get a second opinion. Hear what the Duke doctors say, and I guess they say it, grade 1 strain, day to day. Get a second opinion. And don't go out there unless you're absolutely 100%. Like you're feeling just as good as you did 3 or 4 days ago. I mean, if the doctors are like, look, you can play, there's going to be some pain, you won't jump and move like you used to yet. You'll get there eventually, but, you know, you won't initially. Don't play. Like sit it out. But if you get to 100%, then, yeah, I'm fine with him going out there and playing. But if he and his family said today, look, Zion's dream has always been to be in the NBA ever since he was a little boy. We saw how vulnerable he can be at this level the other night. We're fortunate he wasn't hurt more, but we decided to sit it out until the NBA draft and prepare for that. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't be mad at him. It would be sad for us because we want to see him play in the tournament. But I would understand because, like you said, that bag of money is at the end of the tunnel, and it's right there. He's close to the tunnel. So,
Randy, do you? It's been reported, and not because of the Zion Williamson injury, but the NBA gave a proposal to the NBA PA about changing the age from 19 to 18 to enter the NBA draft. You spent 4 years in college, of course, an extremely successful collegiate career. Do you have thoughts, though, on the age being lowered for guys to enter into the NBA draft?
I think, guys, if you're good enough, you should be able to come right out. You should be able to come right out. 18, if you're good enough. If you're a guy like Zion, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, you should be able to come right out. The thing that scares me, that if a guy thinks he's all-world in high school and he's doing amazing things against guys that are so much, they're not as athletic as him, and he comes out, second-round pick, 1 or 2 years in the league. Now he's hurt, no degree, none of these things. And now what he's going to do, he's going to go overseas, what he's going to do. So the thing that jumps out at me, if you're good enough to go. But we have to have something in play for guys that are not good enough to go, that don't want to go to college.
One of the reasons this rule is in place right now is because, and it came back in 2005, a lot of the veteran players felt like, okay, you drafting this kid out of high school who's not as good as me right now, you know, and you're keeping him on the roster for potential, even though I'm better right now and I'm losing my spot. And that's why a lot of veterans wanted, you know, at least the one and done in. Do you think that should be an issue for veterans?
It shouldn't be. I think the G League has been awesome with developing young talent. A lot of times younger guys, myself towards the end of my career, you look at it and you say, hey, if these guys are coming in, that's the whatever 10th, 11th, 12th spot where I can be on the team. But this younger guy is going to come and take my minutes. So I think the G League has been great for those guys because those guys can develop while they're learning how to play the game, because it's a completely different game from college. You got to learn how to play iso ball. You can't stand in the paint. You got to learn how to move the ball. You got to learn how to play with a superstar player. If you're a second-round pick and you're in the G League, you're not going to come to a team and that team or that GM or that coach say, hey, you're the man now. You're not. You're going to be a role player. You're going to have to fill a role. You're going to have to guard. You're going to have to knock down corner threes. You're going to have to do things that you're not comfortable with doing. So for the younger guys, if you're good enough and you're 18 years old, I think they should be able to go. But it's going to be a lot of guys jumping out there that are not ready.
All right, Randy, we're going to see you a little bit later in the show, but coming up, are the Steelers making a mistake banking on Big Ben? That's next on First Things First.